Welcome to Sri and Kira Live. As our world spins seemingly out of control, we are all experiencing time speeding up, chaos shifting to a new level, and a yearning to know the greater mysteries of the universe. What does it all mean? Visionary spiritual teachers and best-selling authors Sri Ram Kaur and Kira Ra explore these mysteries, offer live soul readings, and invite you to open up your mind, body, and spirit to the paradigms that are shifting. Bringing you fresh perspectives and timeless wisdom, here are Sri and Kira.
Namaste, beloved ones, and welcome to Sri and Kira Live.
Yeah.
Sri and Kira Alive.
Okay, here it is, guys. Full disclosure. We just got back from being up at the Lost City. I kid you not, about an hour and 10 minutes ago, I had to throw together the movie that you've got to see. So much is happening that we had to show you what we were seeing. So when we were standing up at the mountain today, we were seeing this spiral on the other side there, this ignition. And so we wanted to bring this to you. And so Sri and I are honestly still coming back. It is that kind of a moment. And Sri, I want to say before we go anywhere else, it's that kind of a moment because of what happened yesterday, number one. And I want to say thank you to the entire WWA global community for saying yes to our planet, for saying yes to humanity, for the journey that we all took together yesterday during our session 4. We are getting emails from people literally saying it changed their life forever, that yesterday was one of the most profound moments of their lives. And then today happened, and we have film. So much going on.
Very profound indeed.
Incredible. You feel it? Do you guys feel the September energy? Because that is what today is all about. September, it's full game on, darker light. There is so much to share. There is the Ascended Numerology. Just a huge show. I can barely contain it all.
No, it's truly a fabulous time. And just when we are becoming ever more stimulated, ever more lifted, more comes.
Just when you think it can't get better or it can't get worse. Remember that. So Sri and I are both, there you go. Enjoy that beautiful spiral energy. This is the very top. This is a close-up of the top of our Compadres Mountains, which is why 2 of our rooms here are called the Compadres Suites. And you can see right here, this is where the sun comes up right there on the equinoxes. And you see this beautiful spiral energy. Well, that was really, really going today. So Sri, I know that we are live over at onenesstalkradio.com,
we are live everywhere.
at bbsradio.com, over at YouTube at Sri and Kira official Sri and Kira, everywhere, all the affiliates, Facebook everywhere. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for finding your way.
Yes, and I want to talk about the call boards. Are both of them open, Sri?
Absolutely.
All right, and so today you can get into both of our call boards, and I see that we do have some already filling up here. So 800 number, write this down, 888-627-6008. Again, that's 888-627-6008. And again, we hold on to that number because when we start taking calls, if your turn to get in the queue, hold on, and that's the time to try. And that's if you get a busy signal when you try. Otherwise, over at Oneness Talk Radio, give us a call at 517-208-1500, 517-208-1500. Now, there are a lot of rich Ascension symptoms that go with this September energy. So if you're wanting to ask Sri about that, *5 over at the Oneness Talk Radio call board raises your hand, and over at the 800 number, just let our producer know, and he will let us know. So Sri, September. Okay,
September is putting the dual in duality.
Oh my gosh, that's almost like an understatement to what is happening here. Yeah. It's this. Do you guys feel this? And is that pulling you in, or is it throwing you out? Because that's that dark light energy.
Yeah, and so, oftentimes over the last 18 years, we have talked about the mass consciousness, which we refer to as density consciousness, as a game board.
Right.
And that we grow up learning the rules of the game. We grow up being taught how to be a good little girl, a good little boy, how to be a good human being, how to get along in your culture, religion, society, etc.
What to believe.
What to believe and how to be.
Right.
And for the most part, the lion's share of folks just go, okay, I'm grabbing onto these rules, the rules of the game, and either I accept the game and I put my head into it and I go for it, or I become counter-dependent and kind of resist the game and all of that. But that's still within the game. You know, all games have players and spectators.
Well, and I think I want to stop right here and just put in that little cushion of ascended awareness into that moment, which is realizing that sometimes you come to do just that.
Yes.
And so, you know, that's the moment of rising into your ascended presence, is that in this cycle, we, those of us that are receiving this blessing of sharing, right? We are very aware that we are here during this cycle to hold that buffer zone, to hold the ascended consciousness so that those who need this experience can have it.
Absolutely.
However, it does not need to control the all experience. There is a balance that all voices deserve to be heard and all beings deserve their experience. So when we all deserve, it means that we have all taken birth in mastery. Remember, you deserve because you were born. If you were not born, you would not be here as a master. And so it really is about, you see the cycle here? This is about going outside those limits of perception. And this is, there has never been a time when you have been invited to grow faster and with greater trust in yourself.
Faster and greater trust. Well, those are two of the gateways. Yeah. And the piece that I wanted to finish up, what I started, is that the game board is the basis for comparison. Yes. For almost everyone until they really touch into the higher realms. And then that becomes the higher truth, and this is all viewed as the very limited experience. But let's stop for a second. The game board then is the outer world of form of mass consciousness. And what we have learned is you cannot play your way off the game board.
No matter, and you can't buy your way off.
No matter how much money or how much success you achieve in worldly terms, it won't liberate you. And even spiritual work that is defined by the game board will not liberate you.
Because
it'll help you come to peace a little better with the game board.
You just get to witness it from out here, but you're on the same board.
So the game board, the only way off the game is to lift. And thus, the yoga of self-ascension has become the pathway that we have been living and sharing for the last many years. And it's important to understand this as a baseline because we want to talk about September in a minute. So the game board includes everything that you're seeing in social media, regular media, the news, all of that jazz.
ALL.
World events.
Right.
Okay, that's all part and parcel of the Earth School experience. And when we begin to lift, at first we move into an activism stage of trying to make things more harmonious and better, but the problem with that is it still has a lot of ego involved, thinking that other people don't deserve to have their way.
Well, and you know, while you're sharing that, let's show them the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening. So you can see, this is what Shri's talking about, that the yoga of self-ascension is about navigating through the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening. You are born into density consciousness. And now, as Shri is sharing, and Shri and I started sharing this information back in 2004, that humanity was heading up into spiritual activism, which is a rise. It is an escalation of consciousness. It's also the single most dangerous point to be. And this is because while it is an arising out of me focus, it becomes the polarizing energy of us versus them focus.
And very much it is the energy of awakening is harnessed by those who would manipulate the up level into an agenda for their politics or their religion or their corporation, for example.
Well, and if you look at the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening here, here's what's so important. This is one of those spiritual traps we talked about that's going to be coming in September. So since we're here right now, let's kind of give you that one a little early. And here it is. You see how the heart is actually the activator. It is that moment, that strata where we have been lifting through the spiritual activism. You must grow through it or you can stay in it. I mean, it's your choice. However, if you are looking to simply cross over into full ascension awareness, it demands that you must lift from the heart that is attached to the outcomes and lift into the true all that is focus. Come, the way I like to describe it is come sit with Shri and I right up here at the top of the mountain where we were this morning and see it from that view where the inspiration then becomes the action into form, where your presence becomes your service,
Yeah.
And this is really a profound point, Sri. Thank you for bringing it up.
Well, absolutely, because we are at the moment now on the planet where the game board is starting to move into the final innings, so to speak, and the intensity of the game is pulling people in. So let's just talk about this for a moment, because the mass consciousness or density consciousness is your birthright, and it is what you were schooled in. And just, I kind of joke sometimes, like, I don't want to go back to high school. I did that. I'm complete with that. Well, staying in density consciousness is a little bit like going back to high school from one metaphor standpoint. Once you've graduated and you begin to lift and see it for what it is, we can only be grateful for the experience, but to choose to re-enter is really a deep compromise.
Breathe that in, really, because I felt a lot of people holding their breath as you said that. So just really breathe that in. And as you do, really relax more and just receive.
So density consciousness and the game board, which includes spiritual activism, and remember that activism is often very righteous. That reveals the egoic component.
It'll always have justification, but the whole concept of justice and the way that we wrap around it is part of the ism energy.
Now, from the viewpoint of density, activism is an improvement.
It is an ascended step. You will go through
From the viewpoint of ascension awareness, activism is a stage that we pass through to truly arrive at a place of peace with all that is.
And in that, you embody passionate action. That's why this show is the voice of passionate action. It is not that you sit on your couch. It is not that you're not doing anything. It doesn't mean that you will not ever have an emotional response. My goodness, have mercy on yourself. You're still carrying a body, right? For as long as you carry this body, and that's the blessing of the yoga of self-ascension, is that through the yoga of self-ascension, when we come into that true sacred union, then the body, while still having those experiences, is simultaneously reassured by the presence, because that animation has become that which has held open the doorway of inspiration. This is how we lift. This is how we maintain our fifth dimensional presence. I know what this can sound like, especially if it's the first time you've ever heard it. The key is that as you relax your mind is wanting to trust you. And in September, if there was ever a month where that trust is going to be right in front of you, it will be in September in ways that will delight you or terrify you. And so I think we need to talk about it. Absolutely.
And just to wrap up the passionate action, the understanding, because there's many people who have a beautiful heart that say, well, no, I need to take action.
Right. It's just wrong.
Something needs help, my assistance. Right. Yes. The key difference is the state of consciousness that is grounded in compassion and understands that everyone has a right to their educational process. This doesn't mean you let them hurt you or let them interfere. And so there is a wonderful ground here, and maybe Gandhi exemplified this.
Well, I think it's the wisdom to see the bigger picture.
Yeah, it is to say my heart and my compassion are calling me to assist in certain ways, not to judge and create more hierarchy. Assistance from love is an expression of passion, and assisting from an intellectual concept creates separation and hierarchies,
right,
which removes the overall peace in the world.
So let's show this one more time, because this is so important as we go into September. So you guys see here on the spiritual activism, you see that's where that heart first starts opening. That's when the heart first starts opening, but it's still judgmental, and it is still doubt-filled, and it is still dependent. That is the heart that can't sustain if something happens.
Conditional love.
Exactly. And it begins with conditional love of self. I love myself if I am with this person because this person validates who I am, versus two whole people that have come together. This is where we give away too much of ourselves, and people go, oh, but their heart is so big, and they're broke, and they're miserable, and they don't believe in themselves, and they're stuck. This is important to look at, because do you see the top there? Right when you're ready to break through spiritual activism, you will start seeing the higher picture. You have to, but it's that river. It's like right on the line there. And the only way you can actually embody it is to take the leap yourself. And only you can do that. And that brings us to this moment.
September.
Right now. September 2020 is a month where, first of all, it is an awareness month. So because of that, the dark and the light are equally aware. Within awareness, there are many different aspects of who we are and how we are and what we do and how we do it. And so the gift of this moment is right now. If you are catching this early on in the month, and if you're not, we're going to timestamp into it so you can receive that energy. It is August 30th. September energy has already begun. I'm going to show you the calendar in just a moment, and we're diving into the Ascended Numerology, which is eye-popping. And as we do, I want you to really, right now, feel it. Is there anything within you that is resisting a choice that your consciousness has already been putting in front of you? What do you know is in front of you? You know, I want to share, I believe the law of instantaneous manifestation. You know, one of the things we put it in the e-card this morning that talked about how this month, September, will bring forward the law of instantaneous manifestation. I mean, in ways that it has never done before for those that have really said yes. And remember, it will do that for those who have really said no as well. Everything is going to escalate. Everything is going to get fast and everything is going to happen. So when you're clear, you get to move into this month will be like a year. I want you to feel that right now. By the end of this month, we're going to look back at this moment and you'll go, wow, was that only 30 days ago? And so make a note for yourself right now. Pull in that energy. Receive the law of instantaneous manifestation, because today, after the profound WWA Global Women Wellness Awakenings culmination yesterday, which, oh my God, I can hardly wait till we all get together on the full moon this Wednesday. Chills. But what happened was that we were called yesterday to go up to the Lost City. And we didn't go because of a lot of reasons, mainly the WWA Global. We couldn't do it. We were in bed at 5 p.m. I kid you not, right?
You know, the just to share with those of you that weren't participating, and also note you can still join in.
You can. Go to WWA Global. Join us.
.com.
Oh, sorry.
However, our closing ceremony was so profound, and the
oh my God!
You know, at one level, this program, WWA Global, is a spiritual empowerment program that shifts one's life to a more aligned basis, so that you can manifest, create, share, and be in joy, and that's. There's the goodies right there. And at another level, it opens up the frequencies, the energetic portal, so that your portal of joy, your portal of ascension is more available. And we all got an incredible boost yesterday.
And so today, Shri and I were called this morning. I said, okay, I just have to get the e-card out for the show so that all of you would know what was happening with the September. And I wanted to update the Ascended Numerology, which I'm going to show you next. And I was like, as soon as that's done, let's run up the hill. Yeah. And we did. We literally, because we've been doing lots of new improvements. We've been cutting in new steps and things. But what happened today was so profound and so mind-blowing that we are still up there as we're speaking to you right now, and we are doing the best we can. We are going to be showing you a 10-minute film that we created, and I do want to just give a shout out to Bria Rose and say she had made a wonderful film for today, of which only the first 2 minutes are in this film because they are what should be with this film, and the rest of her film goes with what we're not including from today as well, which we're going to put on Soul Mirrors Tuesday night. So this is very much a two-parter.
Absolutely.
So, law of instantaneous manifestation. Let's talk about it. First and foremost, my angels, I want to bring you to the energy flows. Pay attention. Here we are. This is that moment. We talked about this last week. This is the only time, and this is why it's going to feel like September is a year. Think about it as you're in your beautiful spaceship and we have to slingshot around the sun to get back. That's what's happening. If you look at the mastery energy flows and you look at August, you see that January, February, and September, and July, August, and December form the pillars of profound shift. As you gaze at these energy flows, remember that this year has been unlike any other year. And today, spoiler alert, Shri and I were given part of what happened when we were up there today. They showed me the 2021 energy flow, and it is another one that we have not seen before. And so This is a profound moment because July and August called forward the perfect balance of the January-February. So when you look at the January-February energy and the July-August energy, they're like balancing each other, but they're not stable. And so by leaving August and going back to September, you see that pink arrow has now stopped. There was that pink arrow that gave us, I'm going to use the word semblance of linear time from January to August. That is the last we're going to see that. Every month, the last 4 months of this year, do you see how they sit on their own? September, boom. October, boom. November, boom. December, stability. So I want you to see that. And this means that we are not going to see until December in density. You are not going to see anything that looks like stability until December. But it is coming. It is coming. And 2021 is beyond profound, and I should be ready to decompose everything by the end of this month to release the next year as well. And so this is important because in order to go from August to September, because that pink line is gone, we have to literally jump out of that profound shift experience onto the awakening. You see that oval? That it's like, imagine you're sitting there inside that August energy and you're like, oh my God, how do I get on to September? It's called, here it is. It's this beautiful spiral of awakening that's been here all year long, that has been ever present. Only you have to trust yourself enough to jump on, and then it will gently bring you to September, where you become the pillar of the illumination in your own profound shift. September is the month that unlocks all the promise of 2020, that unlocks all the dreams you put together. Go back to where you were New Year's Eve 2020. What were you calling forward? I know we were activating the Ascended Heart with all of the beautiful ones that were here with us. Go back to that moment. That's what the September dark or light is all about, and that's why it's coming for you.
And that's why I tongue-in-cheek said that September is going to bring out the dual in duality. And I was thinking of the dueling pistols a little bit because the tension created when the polarity increases is not only an opportunity, it's also a motor.
Right.
And that motor stimulates movement primarily through the strata called activism.
Right.
Because activism doesn't have to be particularly ascended. Activism can simply be our way or the highway. It can be a vigilante justice kind of thing.
Remember, the entry level into activism is what you're seeing. Yeah. You know, spiritual activism affects all, and spiritual activism loves ego. It's very ego-based, because imagine the ego that would say only my way is. Right. And anything else is not. You're either for me or against me. Think of that level of consciousness. But even that is higher than density consciousness, because while it's me-centered, it invites an us moment. It's a polarization, but it's a polarized us moment.
One of the emergences, which is why on the Pyramid of Spiritual Awakening you saw the green energy, the heart energy.
Put that on again real quick. Go ahead. No, because it's important.
So one of the reasons that's there is because activism arises out of a power, which is the yellow energy, and moves into a protective energy. Yeah. So there is love in activism. We're not here to
especially as you move up through it, it becomes very love based, but it's wounded love.
It's wounded love is very conditional. Mm-hmm. It's love for our group or our tribe versus another tribe. So
conditional love.
And so what's happening in September is that this polarization is going to be increased. You're going to see it in the political arena. You're going to see it in the social arena. Because people, it's very interesting, the conditioning in consciousness that the whole COVID virus has brought forward is that people have felt compressed. And when we are compressed, what's cooking that wants to come forward? And so there's a wonderful opportunity to see what drives people. Yeah. Let me say this differently. You can't fake it anymore.
That's why it's intense. So say that again.
You cannot fake it anymore. You're either going to be living a egocentric, competitive life, God bless, go enjoy it, have
Do
fun.
it well, as I
Or
would say.
you're going to be living a more awake, ascended life and commit to it, because if you try to dabble in both sides of the paradigm, you will be tormented.
And angels, that's it. Everything is ready for you. You are ready. This is a month of choice. August 2020 was a month of choice. And during this month, through the WWA Global Commitment, more and more of these portals have been open. All of us, the divine feminine has risen. And even in the third dimension, it is the month of Virgo. It is the month of the beloved mother. And this is a very profound moment where everything has lined up. You have the density astrology that knows that the rising divine feminine is coming. You have just the energy of the stickiest density saying, hey, women are equal to men. Just trying on that energy balance. We are still navigating so many things, and they are all labels.
Yeah.
And the key is that we are at a moment where we are being invited to transcend all the labels. But in order to do that, you have to love yourself enough to let go of the labels you've put on yourself, to let go of all the guilt, all the shame, all the anger, all the whatever. And at the end of the day, it will be your ego, and it will be your spiritualized ego, steeped in its spiritualized activism, that will seek to keep you from crossing that threshold. That's the borderland of sanity. That's the moment between the fourth dimension, which will have your ego in such a state of bliss that you will have a hard time discerning, because you will be so filled with how important you are and how special you are and how right you are. Or you will melt through the compassion and lift into that ascension awareness, where in that moment you're smiling at the you that would still be holding that experience and loving the you in density that is actually manifesting it, conscious of them all. This has been August, all about living in the fifth dimension, anchoring that energy, being in that multidimensional presence. And that is why this is the month where your soul, your absolute soul, from its source, is beaming out to you and saying, look, I am here. Are you ready to really remember? The month before us, and those energy flows are showing us, right, as we jump from August into September, and September is a completion that will feel like a year and a month, because at the end of September, you're going to be standing on that pillar, and it's from that pillar, the top or the bottom, that you're going to jump into October, that you will jump into November, that you will jump into December. We are building the 4 pillars to 2021, and this is the first month, and that's massive, Sri.
It is, and it's going to be a stabilization period for the whole year.
Exactly. The first pillar is built.
However, all of that which has gone before, and the choices you've made both consciously and subconsciously in August, or you're going to get to be aware of them more fully in September.
You cannot hide.
And this is why we say you can't fake it. Right. It's going to be revealed, the truth revealed. And,
yes!
And that, too, is an opportunity to cultivate your empowered choices for the future.
Well,
however, it takes a little humility.
And it takes this, right?
Yes.
This is, those of you that have done the lineage holders with us, those of you know this, right? This is you as the center of creation in the middle of the Taurus field as the 0 point creator. You are that powerful. You are that energy. And you see across the bottom, those little diamonds there, that is the framework of support. The framework of support is being able to stay in this space. This is where you are consciously aware of your multidimensional presence, where you are there all the time. I call it as watching those 5 computer screens at all times. And here's what keeps you there: steadfast commitment, focused awareness, and complete trust. And I want you to really breathe that in and notice that 0 point, that ignition of you as that creation energy, because this brings us to the September energy. And I want to show you the calendar first, and then we're going to go to the Ascended Numerology. But wow, let's look at this calendar. So
don't fall in.
Yeah, really. But, well, this is why we were showing the spiral here already. You see what is happening, though, right? Now, let's go right up to the top. Archangel Zadkiel, love this quote, Shri.
Free your mind now and invite yourself to fly and to soar.
Free your mind now and invite yourself to fly and to soar. And so I'm going to say that again. I want to do 3 times. Free your mind now and invite yourself to fly and to soar. So I want you to really feel Archangel Zadkiel with you right now, sharing this with you. In this month of profound shift. Remember, August was also a month of profound shift, but from a different end of the cosmic universe. And I want to just remind you of that by showing you the August calendar. So look at this. Here we were in the August. You see the door? And it was all about getting through the door, coming out of the portal. And here we are on the 30th and the 31st. And everything went into creation because we are already in September. You see right here, you are already flying in. You are coming in. You are getting ready. Look at the 9th. Look at the 9th. We have the 2nd, the 9th, the 16th, and the 23rd. This full moon on the 2nd, and I'm going to show you in the Ascended Numerology in a moment, is the kickstart. It's saying, okay, here we are right now. We're in the outer reaches of this portal, and we're being pulled in really fast. And then we're going to hold that this month because we're going to go all the way in. We're going to receive. And then by October, we're going to bring it back, and we're going to enliven, rejoice, and be. It is a profound month. This is very much a month of dark or light, game on, holding consciousness. Now, I showed you the full moon. Go to the 17th. You'll notice that's the birth. You see that? That beautiful angelic energy, that extra portal within a portal, that this is how this is how we come forward. And so what we're actually doing is we're pulling in from early October a timeline shift into the full moon, which is happening this Wednesday night. And you'll see that that energy is going to be once again amplified on the 17th, but first we're coming all the way in. So we're actually going from the October energy, which is going to be our first big jump, right? Right now we get to kind of ride on the wave to get here to September, but September is going to be the first month where you're building a pillar where you will have to jump into October. And so this is how we jump. We are pulling our remembrance, our ascended presence. We know how to jump. We know what we're doing. It's coming in. It will be reamplified when we hit the 17th, but right now it's coming all the way in, and we are going to first be able to really embody it this Wednesday on the full moon. And I have to take a breath on that, because I would trust that you're receiving that the way that I'm receiving that, because when I show you the Ascended Numerology on that, it will blow your mind. It blew mine.
Yeah. And this portal energy and this polarity that will result from this open portal is upon us, and we're feeling it, we're sensing it. Everything has been growing, and I want to speak for a moment a little bit about the ego, because the ego is both your ally and your inhibitor. So let's just lay this out one more time.
Let's do it.
When we take birth, we cultivate an ego. It is a necessary lens of identification in order to preserve your individuated life experience.
Right.
It's needed.
Right.
When we choose a conscious spiritual path, we begin to see how the ego is inhibiting our ascension process, and how the ego is actually very much grounded in specialness, self-absorption, and does not allow us easily to lift into peace. because there's always an agenda at work. There's always what's in it for me. Aren't I special? And that transcends all sophistications, whether we are special intellectually, special because we give so much to others, or whatever it is.
It'll find something.
So the ego then becomes the inhibitor to your spiritual attainment.
Right.
Now, anybody who has followed a lot of the Eastern spiritual traditions, they would have learned many practices. There are so many mantras and yogas and things you can do to help create space for you to be outside of the ego's dominance.
There's such a beautiful tool along the way.
There are many tools.
Yeah.
And what we have come to know is the number one tool is your own willingness, that your passion for reunion, that your passion for the divine, that your passion for the peace that passeth all understanding is greater than your fear that would fuel an ego, that would fuel decisions that limit you. And so the juxtaposition of the two, and further, what we've come to know is that the spiritual journey is one of residing in the authentic energy of your soul, your eternal essence, while still in form. Not waiting to visit it when you transition, but to say, why not now?
Right? I mean, no, really underscore, right?
And so we have the egoic reality, which is reinforced in every movie you've ever seen, and like I say, that it's very useful along the way. And then we have the soul-based reality, and the soul loves the ego
so much that it will let it do whatever it wants.
And the soul's infinitely patient.
Exactly.
You need
it's
a
just
whole life.
Out.
You need a whole life of that point of view. Go for it. The soul
just sit there and witness and go, "Wow, aren't you powerful?"
So, so we're at this moment where the threshold between an ego-based life and a soul-based life starts here at the heart.
Yoga.
So this is why so many of the great faiths say, go to the heart, love thy neighbor as thyself, is in every great faith. And so that's the pivotal point.
And I want to show this, since you're talking about it, Shri, right here. This is the essence of the yoga of self-ascension. It's stepping up and living in the 12-pointed chakra system that is the divine galactic blueprint. And this is what Shri is talking about right there, Shri, the ascended heart.
So if you take a look at the interlocking figure 8 on the drawing on the right side, what that is the illuminated heart, which then serves as a point of stability to live in a body. I'm living my life from a heart-centric point of view.
That's ascended.
That's an ascended energy. Whereas the lower 3 chakras are all about worldly issues that would keep you in fear. And I'm not going to get into a long teaching on this today, other than to say that when the heart foundationalizes, we have an opportunity to lift into the ascended chakra system, which we call the Divine Galactic Blueprint. There is a beautiful teaching on this, and it's available at our website. Look for the Messages from the Masters, and you can find that.
Actually, it's in the practices.
Okay.
So it's under Yoga of Self-Ascension.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the reason I bring this up today is that September is one of those get off the fence months.
Wow. Yeah, you're going to have to.
You know, that as you begin to lift into greater compassion for yourself and for others, we are then have a baseline, a heart energy that can lift us into direct communion, direct peace and oneness.
Absolutely. And so let's take in a breath, and I want to bring up and talk about the Ascended Numerology. There is a lot going on here, guys. Okay. First and foremost, I want you to go ahead and just look at the wheel. Have you ever seen so much infinite energy? This is why, if you are not stabilized in the 5th dimension, like it or not, we're going in and out of it all month long. We can't get away with it. And if you are not anchored in it, but you are aware of it, this is why Shri and I keep sharing with you, it's going to be a month where it's going to feel really uncomfortable. So look at the body. Do you see what's going on in the body there? And I'm loving what we're seeing there. So let me go through this with you. First and foremost, September is the 6th.
Yes.
September is the 6th. September is the point of balance. Imagine that was the only line, the only circle on this entire wheel. Everything could balance on that 6. It would be hard, but it could. And so in the year of perfect balance, we are in a month of balance, and it's a month of ascended balance because it's all about Merkaba ignition. Now, what concerned me about this was the way that this ignition was here, and the way that the year, since our year is a 4 with a double infinite, if you just would look at the whole year, the whole month, September 2020, it was going to start bouncing back and forth. You see that? I was concerned about it. Well, here's why this full moon is so incredible. If you look down at the bottom, September 2nd, 2020, the full moon is an 8. My loves, look what the 8 does. First of all, it arrives from back out of the infinite because of the double infinite between the 6 and the 4. So the first 8 that you see is that pink. You see the pink dotted pink line there? Well, what's so beautiful is when we add the full moon, it stabilizes the entire monthly experience. Now, here's what also happens. Go back and look at September 2020 as the 10 with the double infinite. So first you're going back and forth. Then what was happening? It was shooting back up to the 10 where it was just going to keep spiraling, right? This was just going to be an in, out, where it would be hard for people to understand. And then I'm loving this. What happens is we have, first of all, the full moon. So go from the 6 up into the infinite, down to the 4, back up into the infinite, up to the 10, back into the infinite, now over to the 8. And you see how it becomes stable? You have 6, 8, 10. Everything, the full moon is coming in as an anchor. I'm seeing it as a lifeline from the universe. This is saying, look, that's just a little too much too soon for most of you, so we're throwing you a lifeline. The 8s are a message, and here's what's so incredible. Not only is the full moon an 8, but you gotta love this. The Mercury retrograde pre-phase begins on September 23rd. Not only is that another 8, it's got the double infinite, it has the infinite. We are being thrown a lifeline for October. This is like the universe coming in and saying, if you remember who you are, if you get out of your own way, you will see that you are absolutely on a win track. That success is assured. So for all those who say, yes, that's what's happening. Now, what's even more amazing is that we have an up-level date this month of September 17, 2020, and that is a 9. And because of all the infinite energy that will have been bouncing in and out all around this incredible wheel, the 9th will birth from the entry into the 10, meaning it's coming backward from the 10 to the 9, but it carries with it the infinite presence, which is why I have the line where it is. So before we talk about the body, Shri, I just wanted to take a moment and share, how's that feeling for all you guys, right? We're going to get to your calls in just a second.
Well, and for those of you that are kind of going, wait a minute, right? What is this? Ascended Numerology is powerful. It is accurate. My beloved Kira Ra has brought this forward from what was lost at the burning of the Library of Alexandria. You could learn more about it at shriandkira.com and study it, because this is the tool of the ascended communities. This was used by the ancient magi, by the mystical Essene. And it reveals energetic underpinnings. Remember that our individuation, your personal way you use your energy, has a lot of uniqueness to you in it. Mm-hmm. However, the currents of energy that would allow you to have your unique expression are predictable, known, and useful to become aware of. Yeah, they really are. And so now, when you breathe that in, let's go back to that Ascended Numerology and let's look at the body. And this is really important to pay attention to, because this month is look at your body. Number one, first and second chakra issues on everywhere going on for a lot of people. We're going to wind up with a high heart up-level moment, which means it's an explosion. It's tied back to the manifest energy of the infinite 10. All the while, we have these double 8 pulsing going on in our Lotus Chakra.
fifth dimension. Those two stars, I want you to look at them first. Let go of everything else and just look at the double star energy, which carries the infinite presence overlaid in the fifth dimensional self, in that point of the divine galactic blueprint. The universe has never sent a clearer, pay attention, trust yourself. We're here. We hear you. Here it is. They're literally, I couldn't, you couldn't ask for a better burning bush that says we're here. We're paying attention. Now, let's look at the month of September. Of course, it's a 6. It's all about second chakra. It's all about our balance of creation. This is the month where, again, go back to your dreams. What was your dream? What did you see this year would do? It still is. It's not too late. This is the time. And so really celebrate that. And then from that 6, we go down into our root chakra to our beingness and find the double infinite 4 of the year. Remember, this entire year is all about your root chakra, discovering your true root chakra, because the root chakra of your ascension portal is the ascended heart. Now, here's where it gets fun. September 2020 is a 10 plus the double infinite, which means from that 4, we bounce all the way up to the right side of that fifth dimensional experience, where is our manifest energy power. Everything we need to harvest it in, and then it comes zooming back into that high heart during the up-level date. However, before it gets to that high heart, starting on the 2nd, the Lotus Chakra, your inspiration, your highest self, starts becoming the light in the night sky, the guiding light. This is a month where the dark and the light, game on, means that everything gets to up level. So if you're ready to really put the game on into your light, source your soul and do it this month. That's what the Ascended Numerology is showing us as well. Your soul, all the aspects of you are saying, hey, I'm right here supporting you. And that's why we're supporting all by offering soul sourcing for love donation starting on September 14th, 2 Mondays. Join us. This is the month to do it and the moment to do it, not just for yourself. We'll be doing this for all of humanity.
Yeah. And it's kind of fun now. I want to talk about so here's all here's all the stuff. Here's all these energies and everything from the 8th chakra down to the foundational chakra, with this whole big churning going on the 2nd chakra.
Yeah.
Well, let's just put some human faces on some of this.
Okay.
So the stuff going on up high, the body is going to feel that like head expansion.
Right.
Even though it's up here in the exploded crown and above.
Oh, it could be like crushing, right?
It's going to feel like my head isn't big enough.
Yeah, literally.
And so many of you are going to have a different quality headache. And
that's such a kind way to put it.
Well, it's.
I love it.
We all know what a headache is, but then we start having unique headaches. Anyway, so you're going to have the ascension headache, call it. And this ascended headache is going to be experienced by the body as a form of pressure. And for some of you, it's going to amplify ear sensations. And for others of you, it's going to amplify visual sensations.
Right.
Because we each have certain default pathways, let's just say. So, like all ascension symptoms, it's important to say, oh, thank you. Be present to it. Now, I say thank you a little tongue-in-cheek. Nobody wants to say thank you to pain. However, we're in the habit of resisting. So by saying thank you, it opens up the possibility that we can receive and integrate versus resist and polarize.
And may I share?
Yeah.
And also, your body gets to know you love it. The thank you is really to your body, and your body going, oh, I'm so glad you got it. Then I can stop doing it this way. The thank you is really that sincerity, love, and presence for miracles, right? It's really that sincere thank you. Thank you. Thank you for showing me. Thank you for assisting me to remember who I am. Thank you for helping me to move forward in my mastery so that you can be free to do what you want to do as well. And that's when the body heals. Yeah. I've certainly noticed that.
And for any of you who have traveled to high altitude places, Cuenca, Ecuador, right nearby where we live, is 8,000 some odd feet. when you first adapt to higher altitude, you're going to be lightheaded.
It rocks.
There's going to be other experiences, short of breath, and those kinds of things. And then as you adjust to that, all of a sudden you realize I'm totally happy and good, better than before, actually.
Lighter.
And I don't know when that transition exactly happened. We do know when the pain started because we paid attention to that.
That's really a discerning point. So I love it.
So I'm offering that to you as a metaphor because the Ascension Symptomologies of our times, if we can just simply say, thank you, I appreciate what's going on, and I can be in the flow of integration rather than thinking I have to fix something or change something. To integrate, let it inform you. Now this comes back to the second chakra. So the second chakra, at its highest expression while in form, is all about letting go of the past and all of the frozen energies of the past, meaning the hurts and the judgments and the unforgiveness stuff. All of that junk is in your second chakra, in your field. And a couple other chakras like to participate. But the reason it shows up there is it inhibits the birthing of your future. Imagine what you would dream if you'd never been hurt before. Imagine the leaps you would take, the risks you would take if you've never felt pain.
That's true.
So I offer that to you as kind of a smiling, rosy thing that when we resolve our pain, we're free to dream more robustly.
Manifest.
Talk about Technicolor, okay? It's no longer dreaming with a little hint of gray. Well, it might not turn out. It's like
it's seeing what's on the other side.
Exactly.
And going through.
So the second chakra carries that type of balance between what has been and what shall come. And this is why the organs of creation are located at the second chakra, because the female reproductive organs are such a perfect metaphor to be able to dream, hold the dream, nourish the dream for 9 months, and then still feed and sustain the dream even after it appears.
No matter what happens.
That's the metaphor for creating that which is not yet here.
Loving it.
That's this chakra's power. Wow. So, how do we move forward in a nice, healthy, balanced way? Well, number one is to release all hope of a better past. The past is over. Let it go. Forgive all that has gone before. And there are a variety of ascended forgiveness techniques that we teach in our various workshops. I'm not going to speak on that today. I will say that when we move into our heart and then reflect on our pains, we can forgive more easily. There's a hint. The other side of this is to remember that Spirit is inspiring you continually. And that you are the manifest vehicle of the divine in form, and you have gifts to share. You have qualities, you have wisdom, you have learnings and skills. All of that, when it's lined up with your ascended heart, with your soul's wisdom, you cannot help but create beauty.
Yeah.
And positively affect the shared environment. And I mean that at every level, energetically and physically. So the second chakra, when it's brought into balance and is connected to this upper chakra information, so now the 8 and the 9 and the 4, all of that is connected. Forget the numbering system of the chakras. That's just a sequential thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are energies that are far more important than the numbers of the traditional way of talking about them. So when this area down here connects to this area up here, wow, a beautiful creative being is activated and passion is harnessed.
If you're aware, and I got to jump in, if you're aware, because it does harness your passion, and it does do it if you're aware, and all of that is happening whether you're aware or not. And as we move forward into this month, that energy, imagine how that energy, as illuminating and awesome and passion igniting is because you're aware of it. Imagine what that feels like if you have no idea what it is. Imagine the way that you're feeling. You don't know how to harness your creative power. You don't know what to think. You're being bombarded. You get tired. And that's the game on moment. It's going to be about distraction, distraction, distraction.
Well, it's also the medicine moment. You know, how many people have gone through the Prozac phase in their life because they lost their inspiration? And what was left is, I don't want this game board. I don't fit in here. I don't know how to succeed in the status quo. And
I believe the voices.
I'm depressed.
Yep.
And God help us, how many people went through the antidepressants or are still on them?
Yep.
When we activate our spiritual center, the inspiration will heal that for you.
It really will. And also know that Shree's not sharing any of this for anything other than to say every part of your journey has brought you to where you are right now. And many of us have had very similar paths along the way. That's part of the affirmation when we come together. Just like today when Shree and I went up the hill was really part of the affirmation of what's been happening. You know, we shared a little bit during the culmination of the Women Wellness Awakening's phenomenal journey, and we're all going to be gathering on the full moon this Wednesday live. And one of the things that is so clear is that as you call forward your fifth dimensional presence right now, I mean, really call it forward, as you are in that stadium, because right now the stadiums are full, as you are holding open that light, there are those crawling over the top that are saying, no, 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 no. Maybe we can't get you, but we can dim your light and get a lot of these ones up here in the bleachers.
Or we can affect the people that you enjoy being with.
Right? And so what that means is that you may have relationships suddenly no longer connecting for no quote unquote good reason. That's a moment when you are being invited to look at your own trust in your own energy. And the first thing you do is you look in the mirror and you make sure from your empowered state, not from a victim state. Remember, this is all about breaking free of the victim triangle, right? And so you really look in the mirror and make sure that whatever is the perception, because it's all perception, around the perceived injustice, all lower consciousness, right? That you can look in the mirror about it. And when you know you can look in the mirror and you can love the experience and see what's happening, then you have to commit to being the master through it. And sometimes that means taking what may look like a tough love stance. Yeah. Being a master through an experience means loving someone enough to model the way through. And when Shree and I went up to the temple today, we have had our own knives thrown at us over the past week. And I'm not surprised. I've watched, we talked about this on last week's show, in the last week of August. Remember, the end of this week, as of yesterday, it was kind of dark. Lots of dark energy, and you were either in there creating and getting excited, or you were in there freaking out. Well, today, it really is the rise of as much light. So the balance is here. It's a question of how are you working with it. When we went up to the mountain, we're getting ready to show you this film. It is 10 minutes. There was a lot more, including the very first ensoulment ever. And we are showing you in real time what happened to us, how we went up knowing there was one part that we were called to visit. And we were not ready for what happened. And I think we should offer you just a moment of what happened, because you're the first people to connect with this. Nobody knows about it. Forgive the video. I threw it together and got dressed to be on the air with like 5 minutes to spare. But we felt it was that important to give you this first portion.
Whenever we're on a spiritual ascent.
Yeah.
And I choosing the words that they were.
Well said.
There are moments where we really are so busy climbing the temple steps, so to speak, that we don't really see what's awaiting us.
Yeah.
Or what's awaiting us is just beyond our attainment of that moment. Attainment in a spiritual sense refers to your capacity to consciously anchor a level of consciousness or a frequency.
Yeah.
And that your level of attainment is your veil. When we reach certain levels in our life, and you've all had them, we've had wonderful examples throughout childhood, and we go from the Christmas and the Easter Bunny to other things that reflect our level of consciousness. And each and every step of the way, we begin to move into a more clear seeing. And there may be some emotional stuff that happens along the way, too. So when we reach into those higher, purer realms, we are constantly lifting our own veil. So that's one thing I want to say, is that what we discovered was a little bit of a surprise and yet a long-term knowing. Sometimes when we are in the presence of something that's pure, there's a part of us that goes,
you just know, you
at
feel
last,
it.
At
it's
last.
like the exhale. It's like, this is the real thing.
And a sense of being home.
Yeah,
You
family.
know, home. I'm just want to. This is where I shall dwell.
Where my heart beats the loudest. And so before we show you the video, I want to show you again the picture of the alligator. Remember that the last time Sri and I were up was with Adriana and Alessandro and Perna and Dr. Lorena and Bria. And you'll see this was when we were coming down. And it's funny, as Sri and I are looking at it right now after today, I'm like, wow, this was the last time we saw it. It looked like this. And we have been called up, again, very strongly since yesterday. It was like, come up, come up, come up. But we're just going to show you the video. And then there are things we will share with you right after the video, because the video ends right when the first massive ensoulment began, when some other profound revelations began. And we want you to stay with us in that real moment. So we're going to play this video, of which there is a rich second half, which we will play on Soul Mirrors Tuesday night. So bring a hand to your heart and really just receive this. This is a gift of love, and we love you. And when we come back, we will take this further.
Okay, so here is this pile of dried grass clippings and years of all the weeds that they've pulled up and placed here. What we're doing now is we're going to harvest some of the soil underneath this pile here and use it as part of our mix for our gardens today. And here's this mix that we put together. It's the compost from underneath the pile I just showed you, mixed with decomposted chicken manure and other yummy things. And you can just see how fluffy, it's like chocolate cake almost. I really wish you all could feel how incredibly soft and beautiful this feels. It smells good too. That's how you know it's good. If it really has a rich, rich smell to it. So this broccoli is going to grow up very, very happy.
Hi, I'm standing on the new staircase that we've installed to make it easier for folks to access the beautiful, beautiful lost city that's above the structures at Tosa Blue Mountain. We discovered the lost city of light some time ago, and we began to reveal this publicly quite recently. As you'll notice, the handrail is still going in. As you look at this, there's beautiful steps to take us up to the canal, which we lovingly call the moat.
Namaste, as Sri and I are heading up to the City of Light, the Temple of Light, all of the beauty up there. But hey, check this out. So I'm at the moat, and we are going to be creating, this is, you can see the cement is still drying. We're putting in beautiful new handrails, and we're going to be painting this. And when you come, we'll be asking visitors who want to dip your hands in the paint and to add your love and light as well. So we are heading up the mountain. Come join us today. Namaste, beloved ones, and welcome to the entrance of the main site. A very comfortable 12 to 15 minute soft, easy hike, especially with all the new steps we've cut in. And this is what welcomes you, this beautiful, beautiful cougar, lion, feline. And I'm going to ask Shri to pan a little bit because you can see over here, right down on the ground here, and this cactus. The one thing we've learned is that the cactus show the way. This is a huge piece. There's also some others where Shri is standing at right now. Before our group is here in September, we will be clearing all of this, and you can see what's waiting.
Up here at the Lost City, there are lots of beautiful cacti growing, and Kira has just found a beautiful cactus fruit, a pitahaya.
Enjoyed by one of our local neighbors.
One of the birds,
right,
probably.
But this one looks like it's going to be ready to harvest soon.
I have hiked up to an area just beyond the temple wall, and it's fascinating to tune into these formations, which are unlike the other rocks. If you look at these rocks and the shapes, over here especially, you're going to see what looks like a molten flow. And also here, what we feel intuitively, and this might be corroborated by Zecharia Sitchin's work, that many millennia ago there was a war or a cosmic struggle for dominion. And these rocks feel to me to be evidence of that, whether they were hit by a laser beam of some sort or a technology that used extreme heat. The rocks have literally dissolved and remineralized. So it's a fascinating thing to come up here, a little bit of a hike, but as you hang out with these rocks, what I have felt is an unfoldment of an ancient story which truly connects us to mankind's origins. There is so much more than is in our libraries. There is so much more than is in our knowings. It is in our spiritual DNA. And the legacies that are being uncovered is truly a journey of completion for a human being, to be able to know one's history, to know one's ancestors beyond the printed paper and into the realms of origin.
Shri and I have just come up from where the wall originates, and it gets much further up. However, this area right here, where Shri is currently traversing, and you see the opening there, this is the area where we see a lot of this laser light.
Here we are at another flow, evidence that something massive happened here, whereas to my right the rocks are solid and cut and have a lot of intentionality, and this is rubble. Yet within the rubble there are still signs of intentionality, whether it's a drainage line,
The star,
an intersection representing flows, representing the cosmos. These are the discoveries that await the intuitive visitor.
these are the cosmic origins. We are being shown them, and I'm going to go ahead and pan here because many of you have asked about the alignments. We are in direct alignment right here with the compadres.
I'm standing here right at the edge of the massive temple wall, and you can see the quality of these rocks and the fact that they have been around as ancient record keepers. Just behind me is the molten flow that we talked about previously, evidence that something grand and cataclysmic occurred at this site. The more that we visit here, the more that is revealed. And this is why it is our heartfelt wish that you come and experience Tosa Blue Mountain, a true destination vacation for the spiritual traveler. So much is here and so much to share. We welcome you to explore and discover what your heart and what your soul will reveal.
Namaste, everyone. You know, what called Shri and I up here was this beautiful, I'm lovingly calling it an alligator, but I'm not sure it was an alligator. I'm beginning to think it might have been a dragon. And this stone, we showed you a video where Alessandro and I were coming down, and I felt strongly, and he started uncovering it. Well, you can see that we now have uncovered, I'm going to stand up a moment, we have uncovered the area, and so this was a much bigger piece. And so all of this was parts of the body And you can see the nose, how beautifully it's coming available now. You can feel the reptilian, like dragon or alligator. It was definitely, and you see here, I'm actually uncovering what looks like another spiral right here. And you can feel the flow. And if you're here touching it, you can really feel the flow of the face. This was obviously some form of a protector Nagual, most likely, although, you know, the more Sri and I are up here, the more we're aware that this was most likely one of the original light settlements when at the end of Sularia, and that during the end times of Atlantis, that would account for why it was destroyed, because it was carrying so much light. And during the culmination of Atlantis was when that period of the dark started coming in, when that greater sense of imbalance began. And it began because of our own egocentric personalities and our own sense of how important we thought we were. And what a blessing. I really just want to hug this. I really do. And what a blessing that we are now able to really connect with this and to say yes to it and to let all the myths go. So many myths and projections are being made right now. This is a moment of true freedom, and I hope you're enjoying this as much as Sri and I are. We're going to take a moment and do a reading here and spend a little more time communing and know that we love you. Wow.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
You know, we hope that you enjoyed that moment. And what we want to share with you is that at the very end there, for those of you that live here, those of you that have been here, you know what that was. It was Kedarnath. It was like staring at us, the exact Jyotirlinga that's in Kedarnath, the same shape, our Kedarnath mountain, the fact that Sri and I were trapped up at Kedarnath in India because we were fogged in and our helicopters couldn't get us out, and spending the night up there with all these people. And so the fact that this artifact and what happened afterwards, I'm still breathless, Sri, but I want to share a little bit with you. I think we want to share just a little bit more with you before we dive into more about this incredible month ahead and your phone calls. So I do want to say, if you want to get into the queue, we're going to be going there next. 888-627-6008. There might be a line open. 517-208-1500. Same thing. Get in there. You can listen while you're holding.
So one of the things that came forward for me experientially today was how profound one's level of consciousness interacts with one's perceptual discernment.
Right.
And, you know, as we walked up the hill, I was noticing how it was just a week or so ago that the archaeologists from the Ministry of Culture came.
Our big raid.
Thinking that we were trying to sell off artifacts or something. And I understand their motive. They want to preserve culture, as do we. And but they didn't see what we saw. their lens for understanding what was there was defined by Stone Age implements and carvings. So,
and probably a range of about 5,000 years.
And so that's the training.
Yeah.
Now, and so they could only see things that fit within that training context, which means they missed what we were seeing.
Yeah.
And they don't consider it important. So fine. That's fine. It's one of those demonstrations of consciousness that even I am told, I wasn't there, that when Columbus's ships came in I think it was the West Indies, that the natives couldn't see the boats. They thought the men were walking on the water as they got out of their skiffs, the rowboats, and came on shore because they had no concept for the ship.
Now, think about that as coming through the veil.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
in every way, that's what that was. That was the veil shift. That was outside the realm, hence why contact with indigenous tribes and whenever, those that have not had contact, the veil, right? Your experience is your veil. And so this month of September, as we talked about earlier, is very much, I'm going to put up the calendar again really quickly here. I really want to bring it up because this calendar is just so important that very much free your mind and invite yourself to fly and to soar. We are coming in from the outer depths and right there, and we are going to have our first ignition on the full moon upgrade. This month is all about awareness. So the question is, what are you aware of? What are you really aware of? And after that video closed, we have a lot more video. Shri and I had the blessing of really connecting with the energy that stone was holding and discovered vibrational spaces there. And there's two. At the end of the video, you saw on the tip of the nose, it's like, I don't even know how that part of the stone, it's as if someone polished it and has been polishing it and polishing it and polishing it. And that's what it felt like. Like, here is the way you can directly connect. And when we found it, we're still coming back from it.
Yeah, that was a portal moment. And so when we were up there, what began to happen in my own personal experience was the release of the contexts that I had previously been using my words to describe. So consider this for a moment. If your context is the timeline, the
accepted timeline,
that and we go back through the ages, and that prior to the invention of tools, there was no way for humankind to fabricate anything, right? And that when we first connected with the stones and the wall of the crystalline city, the first impressions I had were many thousands of years, 8,000, 10,000 years, that kind of thing.
And I was holding the stone. Are you talking about today
or
just back? Okay,
before.
Forgive me.
I'm building up to today.
Okay, sorry guys.
And so that was...
and the melted stone, which we showed you today. I mean, that's its whole other teaching.
Well, yeah, I'm going to get to that. It's so the first blush was looking at it through the context of the timeline, going, no, this is earlier than anything that we have touched down here.
Right.
And to be, and the truth of the matter is that there were civilizations then that dwelled in
Absolutely.
that. And so it's not like it wasn't true that this was there.
It's only half the story.
That they were building on top of something.
Right.
They were continuing something. So now what does it take for you, for me, to be willing to look deeper? What does it take for you, for me, to let go of all need to control, all need to understand, all need to define? I mean, try that on for a moment. You're an intelligent human being. If you let go of all need to control, all need to understand, all need to define, you're left in a kind of a limbo moment.
Right.
That's the gateway.
Yeah. And that's September. And when we were up there, as I was holding the stone today, we went up and we were clearly called to go to both of the laser stone areas and to show them to you, to start showing this hard evidence of what transpired. And then after that, we were called, the second set of the laser stone that Shri showed you with that beautiful star pattern and the big, beautiful drain or gully or whatever you want to call it, that's right off to the side of this massive wall. And I looked at Shri and said, well, I'm not sure I want to go up to the wall, but yeah, I do want to go see the alligator. I was still calling it the alligator. And so I heard clearly, go touch the stone. So that was the part of the divination stone that's at the top of the wall. And what I had not remembered was that when I touched it, I looked to the left, and right down on the trail is exactly where the alligator is. And I would have never noticed that because I would have gone up the other way of the trail. And so it was fascinating to me that they were literally right there with each other. And I had forgotten that because of the way we went down last time.
There's a lot that's still undercover.
A lot.
And that includes your consciousness and mine.
Yes.
There's a lot of veil that is still available to serve as a boundary for your perceptions. And so one of the things that was so much fun is as we connected with the alligator and said, so when did this manifest? When did this come into form?
And you'll hear this. I think we recorded this.
Yeah, it turned into millions of years. So now to be able to sit down and have a conversation about something that existed millions of years ago blows out of the water all of your mental paradigms.
You have to approach it from your ascended consciousness.
It is the only way, and that is where the recognition that this was a completely different time, a completely more closer to source, you might say, a more illuminated experience,
and a confirmation that it was here for millions of years, this settlement, and that it was part of the complete destruction, because it was like the final holding place of like the sacred seeds of the eternal life sequence. And so there's so much being unfolded here that, and even as I share that, you guys feel this like pins and needles right here. So just, it's beautiful. As I'm sharing this with you, I'm noticing that the back of my crown chakra is feeling very much more illuminated, and that as we connected with this stone, and we will share these revelations with you in real time. Shri will be joining me on Soul Mirrors Tuesday night so that we can finish this revelation, and Jess will be with us as well. An ensoulment came in, and it dropped our mouths. I mean, we're like, wow. And they explained to us all of the energy for 2021, how it's unfolding, how the stones up there literally work. And for the first time ever in 2021, we will be putting the 12 stones together as the calendar and offering exactly the very first message from the lost city in millions of years. And so this is a moment of massive celebration.
And if what we're sharing you find inviting, you find, I want to know more.
Or I know in my heart, I know this. I knew this was coming, kind of thing.
Then what's happening, and the gift of our sharing is that we are igniting in each other this recognition.
That's the key.
And in the ignition of the recognition, we are better equipped to pass through the veils of the Kali Yuga, the veils of the delusion, the veils of the conspired reality.
My God,
you want to know what is the ultimate conspiracy theory? It's taking birth. There you go. Now anything else is nothing compared to that. Just to be here.
He's so cute.
Taking birth and thinking that this is what you are.
I love it.
All right, enough of that. So if this ignites anything in you, then it is your time to touch them directly, because what I predict, what I see is hundreds and then thousands of people connecting
with this
to this primordial purity that will activate within them the soul memories and the recognitions, which will peel off the layers so much faster than walking step by step.
And here's what I think is so mind-blowing is that we already had soul sourcing we already knew we suspended Monday Magic, right? Monday Magic, hey, get in. Galactic Encyclopedia, talk about perfect timing, resumes October 5th to get into Monday Magic. Yeah. But the reason we suspended it in September was it was clear that it was a month where the soul sourcing had to happen. And here today, we literally had a tangible soul source. It's one of the things we were going to be talking about. Yeah. And here we're being up-leveled before we even get together on Monday the 14th to do this 2-journey session. So join us, and at the very
soul
least,
sourcing,
open your heart. Yeah.
This kind of begins at the twin flame question.
Right, and then
who
goes,
is, where is, why is,
and then goes through
deeper.
Much.
Goes much more to the origin story. So soul sourcing is a wonderful 2-part offering that's coming up very shortly. Click in at ShriAndKira.com.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing, and it's a love donation event. Please join us. It's really going to be extraordinary. And speaking of joining us, Shri, we have so much going on. We would love to hear from all of you and see how your week is floating and see what your questions are. And Shri, I'm moving right over here to the call board, and let's go ahead and welcome in all these beautiful people that have been holding for so long. We are going to go to, it looks like, Port Orchard, Washington. Is that right?
Port Orchard.
Hey, Port Orchard, Washington. Namaste. Welcome.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Just fine. You sound great, sweetheart.
All right, so I'm so excited to talk to you guys. I've been off to opportunities in September, and then about after, and that's the one where I get scared about, but I've already did the other one. So, what should I do?
Okay, so first of all, I want you to bring a hand to your heart, and I want you to just relax, because you were breaking up, and what was fascinating about that is it didn't matter. I get it, I see it, because it's all over you. And I want you to just relax your breath. And as you relax your breath, if it's safe to close your eyes, I want to ask you to do that too, honey. Because this is a moment for you that's not about this decision. It's about you deciding that you are ready to deserve and trust yourself. They're saying that the time to ask others for your answers has passed because you already know the future you have chosen. And I want you to bring your hand to your second chakra, because boy, is it tight. And I want you to bring your other hand to your third chakra. And I'm doing both with you. And Archangel Michael is standing in front of you right now because you're carrying this one choice right here. I mean, wow, am I hurting? The upper back right here down by the lower spine, the upper spine and the lower neck. And so I'm kind of moving that right now, but you want to keep those hands on that second and third chakra. And Archangel Michael is standing here and gazing at you and gazing at you. And then what's so fascinating is that right behind Michael, I'm seeing like all these different types of images of warrior-like, god-like beings, all different ones from all different traditions, but they're all like unifying with Michael in this moment. And they're breathing, and their breath is like this crystalline, it's like I'm seeing this combined breath become this crystalline cocoon. And they're putting it around you. And they're saying, our most beloved one, when the queen arises, she knows. And you are ready to arise again. Let go of that which has sought to stop you. Let go of that which you have been doubting. Call forward the energy of your creation into your heart now and gaze forward, breathe fully, and say yes. You already know the answer. And in this moment, you are being taught how to always know. And so it is, my love. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you, my love. Many blessings. And Shri, I just want to share something that I'm feeling pain in my physical heart right now. So I want all of you just really check in on your physical heart right now. And I want to share something with you. There are many who, when they receive a soul reading and they are not given a specific answer, they feel like they have been let down, or they feel like they why didn't you tell me what to do? Because you are loved that much. You will always get an answer, and it will always be the right answer. But remember that one of the things that has shifted, and the way that Shri and I are so blessed to still be teaching and offering the work of the yoga of self-ascension all these years, is that in the expansion of the work right now, in the way that we are teaching it, there are many more specifics because we have arrived at a moment in history when we inserted into the timestamp back in certain years. You realize that in order for us to stay out of the Mandela effect, you have to survive it. And so we are here teaching work that we put in that has never left our possession, that could not be mistaken or misaltered. And that's why we have been a continuous thread through this moment, because that was part of our mission. And I'm sharing this with you because we are in that moment right now where everything is fluid and everything is shifting. And so as we are teaching the work, we are able to, in some things, have these precision type experiences, and they're coming through more and more. And the work of the yoga of self-ascension is and will always be, as was said by Archangel Zadkiel, Saint Germain, the benevolent ones, every beautiful group of masters that we have had the blessing of working with, is that in the end, you are the master. And that you will be always given everything you need to know everything you need and have the answer to every question when you remember you are the master.
True empowerment arises from within, and every being that enters your life, and every teacher, and every guide, mentor, etc., ultimately they're there to help ignite within you the recognition and the courage to become that which you are.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk to who you are right now. And remember, if you have any questions, we're open to receiving them. And of course, any questions for Shri, along with your mini soul reading requests. And Shri, where are we heading next?
Well, we have a first-time caller over at BBS. So
hey, BBS.
Let's go over to line 2 and say hi to Trish from Mississippi.
Hey, Trish from Mississippi. Namaste and welcome, beloved angel.
Namaste, namaskar. Can you hear me?
Of course I can, and I can feel your beautiful heart, too.
Okay, wonderful. I've never been able to get through before, so this is beautiful and wonderful, and I'm so grateful. Thank you both.
It's your day.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Mini soul reading. Oh, and I just signed up for the Twin Flame, Twin Soul thing, so I'm very excited about that, too.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised, especially since you're requesting a mini soul reading. Was there anything else you wanted to share before we share with you?
I love all of you. I love everybody. I'm in an incredible part of my own ascension and awakening and furthering and unraveling all that jazz. So just thank you. I'm grateful.
Oh, honey, you know, Shri and I are just sitting here loving you so much, as I know is everyone else. And first and foremost, thank you for knowing and receiving. When you are a first-time caller on this show, when it is the day that you get through, you know that you have been tapped on the shoulder. That the universe has said, look, you're ready. Because each one of us that shares in this beautiful moment of these sessions together, these joint readings, is holding for each other. So it also means that your presence is ready to be more available. And I was giggling and yet very serious when I said, of course you are with the soul sourcing coming up in September, because that's where you're at right now. And I love how you were sharing, yeah, I'm at this moment. You've been at this moment a while. They're saying, are you jumping? That what's happened is that you have been diligent. You are really clear. Like you have, I love the way your clarity comes in. It's like this soft blue, but it's very, very clear, but it's delicate. And it's like you're at a moment where you're really getting ready to anchor your clarity with a level that you have not done before. And they're saying, breathe in through your nose. Allow the body to be infused with pure crystalline light. Follow where your joy has been taking you. And then dive in. And so it is, my love. I'm just loving you so much. Shri, did you want to share anything with our beautiful one?
Well, other than it brings me joy to connect with you.
Yeah.
And so I want you to just truly lean into the joy portal that has arisen in your life, and it will guide you.
Absolutely. And we are loving you. And until we can hug you in person, we are doing it right now, my angel. Thank you for being you.
Thank you so much. This is beautiful, and yes, it's amazing when you make the conscious choice to love your life no matter what. It really does make amazing miracles happen, and I'm living that, and so I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you for saying yes to you. We love you, honey. I'm popping champagne, having champagne. All right, my love. Mwah. Many blessings.
Y'all take care. Bye-bye.
You too, sweetheart. Oh, God. I am loving this. Don't we have the best? I mean, are we like the most amazing community? I love our Sunday services together, and I love this second hour because it's just us. We can let it out a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, should we say hi to some more folks?
Well, I hope so, Sri. Guide us.
Hey,
I can't see. No glasses.
Okay, we're heading back over to the Oneness Talk Radio call board.
All
and
right.
We're going to say hi to someone with their hands up from, looks like New York.
All right, hands up for Sri 3 times. So we are really glad we are here. Hi.
Hi, I think I just put my hands up through my spirit. I'm not sure if it actually came through that way.
Well, I love that it did. I should get you a screenshot. I'm loving this. You got to just go, wow, this rocks. Welcome, Angel.
How may we help you?
Yeah.
Hi. So, looking for the mini soul reading to see if you could maybe help me out, see where I am, on my path.
Absolutely. So I want you to really, right now, wow, am I feeling it here? And Sri, you feeling that? And so that's why, I think that's why the hands went up. So I'm actually going to let Sri speak first, and then I'm going to finish. But while Sri is speaking, I'm really serious, sweetheart. If you can, left hand right here on the upper part of the chest. You see that? And I'm holding you too, and I'm not going to let go. Other one here as well. Try to relax, and I'm going to let Sri begin.
So what I want to mirror for you is that it's time to accept what you know is true and to stop repeating that which was comfortable or familiar. And what that means is we're opening up the throat chakra so that the heart energy can connect to the higher realms, and so that you may have the experience that you're really seeking, which is to be the divine being that you are, and to anchor that here while you have form. So this 5th chakra that I'm speaking to, this is the chakra of joy, the chakra of authenticity, and the chakra of saying, I don't have to fake it. I can be who I am and trust that. And as we trust who we are and we bring a voice to that, we find that we feel happier. We find that we feel more content with our life because we're lined up with our truth. And this opens the gateway between the heart and the wisdom that you are also seeking to anchor more fully, which is the 7th chakra issue. So while Kira is holding your heart,
I'm ready.
I'm wanting to clear the pipes, so to speak, so that you can lift into your highest joy.
Well, and here's why. So, Angel, hold that. Hold everything Sri just said. Feel that. Know that's there. But right underneath your left hand, the whole time Sri was sharing, it felt like somebody has taken a knife and sliced open your heart. And I'm watching it, and it's like it's been releasing. And it's been fueling a whole bunch of emotional energies. And we've been holding both sides. And as Sri was speaking, this incredible group of masters, very profound, are standing behind you. Each one so empowered, so filled with their empowerment, yet armed with their wisdom and their love. And as your hands are like this, and I'm watching this knife wound really become an amplifier, they're all saying at the same time, lay down your arms and pick up your light. Lift your wings and come forward with that which you are. Your strength is in your truth, and your truth is in your heart. We are offering your heart now that which it has been seeking, so that that which is igniting may lift. Just breathe in, lay down your arms, ignite your heart, and stand with us again. You are a very great warrior. You are an incredible, powerful being. And I am honored to meet you. And I am really glad you're on the planet. And thank you for saying yes to you at this moment. Thank you for holding it open for so many others. That's why you're here today. And I just am grateful. Thank you, my love. Many blessings.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, my honey. Namaste.
You know,
Oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart. The board cut you off. I'm so sorry, but feel my heart.
Much love, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, so let's take a moment and integrate that. Yeah.
Oh my God. I feel like we all just had surgery. Like this was very much a moment of, okay, let go of that which is not serving and breathe in the empowerment. Lay down your arms and ignite your heart. How long are we in battle with ourselves? There is a war for consciousness, but if we lay down our arms and we ignite our hearts, our callers are amazing.
Absolutely.
I mean, I just love how this flow always works. So who are we going to say to next, Sri?
Okay, well, let's take a peek here and see how we're guided.
Okay, looks like we're going to, it looks like Grand Rapids, Michigan, I'm seeing. Right there.
There it is.
All right, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Namaste. Welcome.
Hi, namaste, Sri and Kira.
Hi.
Hi, it's so nice to hear you both. I am currently driving, so I hope you can hear me. I just want to share my joy. My soul has led me to a beautiful, exciting precipice, and I have jumped.
Yay!
All right.
I've been surrounded by beautiful people. It's an exciting experience, and I just want to share my joy. I thank you for the gift of my ability to learn from y'all. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for receiving and modeling, Master Beauty One.
Yeah, and may you soar.
This is the moment. Look at your timing, right? And so I'm grateful that you got through today, and I love that you're driving and celebrating your freedom, and I can hear the wind in your hair, and I can feel the inspiration in your experience, and I am loving you. Thank you for bringing that to all of us today. Yummy, yummy. We receive. We say yes.
Love to you both.
Mwah. Loving you, Angel. Have fun. Have fun. Oh, Sri, feel that.
That's fun.
Don't we love, the heart,
Yes,
the way
yes.
are we not the most amazing community? I love the way we bounce and flow and work together. This is the power of coming together. Together, we are better. Remember that all voices deserve to be heard. That's why Oneness Talk Radio was birthed. All voices deserve to be heard. And in that, we let go of the perception of competition, the greatest illusion of all and the greatest separator and cause of fear. Yeah. Sri, where are we going next?
Well, I think we're going to head to, it might be Berkeley. It looks like California.
Hey,
Let's say
I love
hi.
Berkeley. We love Berkeley. If that's where we're going, and wherever we're going, we're good to be there. Hi.
Hi, this is Ralph from Berkeley.
Hey, we are loving you, Ralph from Berkeley. Thanks for bringing some Berkeley to us today. I am receiving that yumminess.
Well, I was so excited when I saw the dragon
right?
that you uncovered on your property.
Yes.
Right? Is that freaking crazy?
Yeah, it's very cool. So I want to say thank you for revealing the true history of Mother Earth.
Thank you.
And I'm loving the mini soul reading.
Well, first of all, thank you for receiving. I have tears in my eyes because you are so beautiful, and I love that you're with us today in real time as this happened. And thank you for your beautiful voice. As I'm sharing with you, it's so funny. The word share is what comes in around you. That your heart, you have a sharing heart. You have a sharing energy. And it's like everything around you right now is saying, as you share, you care. And they're laughing and they're saying, we're not meaning to be funny or jovial around those word choices, but they're saying that the way that you share is the way that you express love. Your love and your sharing are like one and the same because your mastery presence is so well equipped to handle this moment. And they're telling me to get out of the picture because they're saying that You have arrived. You're at this moment. You're standing right here. This is where the sun comes up on the equinoxes, right here on our compadres mountain. And this is where that portal to the other dimensions are. And they're saying you've arrived. What do you want to do with it? And how do you want to do it? They're saying that you have lots of talents and lots of experiences that you've been weaving together and lots of things you've been thinking about. And they're saying at the end of the day, what is the most important part of that? Because you are a piece of a puzzle that is currently being put together. And it's like your piece has been, the box is, they can't seal the box. They can't start the puzzle till you show up. And so I want you to feel that, because I just felt a twinge in your higher third chakra when I said that. And I'm feeling it right here on the left side. So I'm just kind of holding on to that, kind of took my breath away. So I want you to kind of bring your hand there as well. And Shri, why would we get a twinge right there? I just want you to jump in.
Well, this is about trusting your future.
Yeah,
this is about saying, I know I'm enough to go forward.
Yeah.
That all my worldly limitations were there to teach me how to stand firm, how to stand strong in my greater truth. And that perceived limitations are just that. They're all perceptions.
Yeah, and so you're ready. Now I felt your breath. So you're taking a breath on that, right? I'll do it with you. Let's go up through our nose. Saw, really let it out, move out that hand. And they're saying, take the step, that it's right in front of you. Just take the step and keep moving. And thank you for being here today. I'm really grateful for the energy you've brought for all of us. What a blessing. Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you so much for my call.
Oh, we
Namaste.
love you.
Much
We
love.
love you. Mwah. Namaste, sweetheart. Wow, right? Berkeley Press published our book. So I have a special affinity for Berkeley for saying, we'll publish Shri and Kara. They're not too radical for us. So I really appreciated that very much. All right, where are we going?
Well,
are we out of time? No, we have time. Yay.
We got more ahead. However, I want a conscious breath.
Yes.
So often we get in the flow of things and we do not fully honor our divine presence. The integration of our breath is the movement of energy, sending breath to any part of the body that might be a little tense. And we didn't even notice it was tense until we paused. Take that centering breath and go, oh, okay, this is calling me. What is the message? What is needed to integrate here? Breathe into that. Thank you. Thank
Wow.
you.
No, thank you, Shri. And as Shri's saying the thank yous and as this energy, you feel his ignition right here. Look what he's doing for all of you. I clearly heard that it was important for everyone to really remember what's happening here.
Yeah.
That this month in September, and look at the spiral again, as we are in the culmination of the choice of August right now, your ego is the one that is either making this decision or finally giving you permission to ascend. So this is the moment to pay attention. Victim, abuser, rescuer, always ego-based. You can be the same part. You can play all three parts. But the victim will find reasons to blame and shame. The abuser will find reasons to lash out. And the rescuer will find reasons to make things okay, to patch it up, to start the cycle again. This is that moment, the conscious choice. We have been in August, a month of conscious choice. We are moving into September as conscious awareness, which means you will either consciously experience yourself through the victim, rescuer, abuser, or consciously ascend into teacher, mentor, healer, thereby staying, and I'm going to go back to that Ascended Numerology for September for 1 minute, being able to really harvest that Lotus energy. Yeah. That's the choice before us. And as Shri was talking about, look at that body, look at that energy. It is a big, huge month ahead. And it's right here, right now. Remember, the full moon is this Wednesday night. If you are part of the WWA Global Community, look for your invite. It's a free bonus for anyone who's a part of WWA. this Wednesday night, massive what this is going to do, this full moon, because we're bringing stability into September right now. We only have to get through these next couple days. Remember, this is that dark area, but we've already entered the portal of light. We're on the other side into a month that will feel like a year.
Yeah.
So let's have fun. I wouldn't mind having a year and a month. Wow, works for me.
It does, and an insight that I'd like to share with you, because we were talking about the ego earlier, is I once had a teacher that said to me, in order to become self-realized, the ego must be dropped. And the ego cannot be released until it's been healed. Now, at the time, that teacher was, I just swallowed all of that whole. And from this vantage point today, I want to offer this. In order for the ego to be, to allow your self-realization, a healing is required. And that my prior teacher offered me truth in that. What I know today is that healing ultimately means a restoration of ascended balance. Healing is an ever-refining process of becoming more and more in balance, more and more in the beauty of a nothing is dominant. So for the ego to support your ascension process means that a healing is required. It does not mean you have to go dig through all of the debris of your past and make it right.
And he is a bona fide, all the good graduate certificates, psychotherapist who did practice. And so I think it's important to really pay attention that you have evolved through. Yeah. Shri, there is an evolution even in the way that we transcend our own mind. Yeah. Remember that is ultimately, that's where it is it not? You will come to what I have defined as the borderlands of sanity. And when you arrive in the borderlands of sanity, only you can walk through that moment. And you can do it really with wondrous and fun ways, or it can be a vast wasteland and terrify you.
Yeah. So when the ego is highly reactive, yes, there's some basic healing work needed.
Right.
When the ego becomes more of the subtle side pirate, that's when the love of the soul must be made present to the ego.
Soul sourcing.
When the love of the soul is fully present to the ego, meaning I'm not pushing on my ego anymore, saying, I need to drop you. No, no, I need to hug you. When I'm able to bring that ascended love to the ego, it just softens.
Yeah.
And this is the organic process of self-ascension. In the softening of the filter that was the inhibitor to your self-realization, the only thing left is the joy of being that which you are, to become fully conscious.
And in that moment is when you become the mentor again.
Yeah.
And when you break into the moment of the true embodiment of the yoga of self-ascension, when you are living it, the service is to be there for others who are doing the same, so that the pathway may be cleared, so that it doesn't have to be as hard, so that they can get here faster. And that is why, it's 18 years later, Shri and I, for the first time, have been called to offer private ascension coaching. And this takes forms, and this is about all the aspects of your life. It was birthed through the WWA Global Experience for us. We did not enter into this knowing this would be the result. But whether or not you've been part of the WWA Global community, if your heart is calling you to really up-level your entire life, and we're talking the whole thing, then learn about it and decide, because we're very clear also that it's very few people per month. We already have a waiting list on some of them. And so find out if your heart is calling, because this is a moment where together we are better. And the more of us that wake up, the faster we wake up others. Yeah. And for all of the ones that went through WWA Global and are going through all of these programs, remember that the goal is for you to start hosting WWA Globals in your community, so that all of our communities can come together. Because spoiler alert, we are hosting the first WWA Global Summit right here at Tosa Blue Mountain. It will be a worldwide conference. March 19 through the 21st, 2021. We are announcing all the details on the full moon, because we must. We're excited.
There's a lot that is coming together in a beautiful way.
The law of instantaneous manifestation for those that are choosing. We're sharing with you. You're sharing with us. I love that we had some callers talking about their celebrations.
Yeah.
This is a month of amazing. Go back to the first of the year. What were your dreams? What did you see pre-COVID? Go back there because that's yours right now, and it had to be in this time. That's the gift.
Absolutely. You know, and as we reflect on the journey that we've been on together, does it not seem a very long time ago? That beginning of the year.
No comment. Remember, September is going to be a year, right?
Yeah.
So no comment on the century ago that it was in January.
However, sometimes
Right?
it's useful to just pause for a moment
Yeah.
and smile at that which has transpired.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that came through very clearly for me when we were up on the mountain today, and I might have touched on this earlier, is that our whole sense of time is evolving into a more authentic understanding of time. Time, and this came through so clearly when I was looking at, okay, was it 5,000 years, 8,000? Wait a minute, millions?
We were tell them the truth. What happened? So Shri was connecting with one aspect, and I don't know why. Well, we know why now, but I was already so far gone, and so she was like, well, I think it's like, and I was like, no, go outside of that. And it was when you went outside of your perception. And then we had the game of, well, how many millions are you hearing? And so we did. And this is all, you're going to hear all this Tuesday night.
But here's what I took away from that is that the invention of time as a marker to divide your experiences into manageable units.
Right, so that the brain...
To divide up, to cut apart what is a flow.
Right.
That came in not that long ago. Prior to tick-tock times and calendar manipulations, the peoples of the planet understood cycles, which is another way of marking movement, but it's a much more connected way. Yeah. And this ties a little bit to the entire WWA global motivation, which is to give space for the emerging divine feminine to come forward. Now, this all ties back into the ascension process. When we lift into what David Hawkins writes about as 500, the zone of love, we move out of linear experience into flow. Context is more important than content. Prior to moving into the 500s, which is the zone of love, we're defined by the tick-tock, the content, and subject-object way of thinking and being. When we anchor in the love zone and the joy zone, we are embracing the divine feminine, which is flow, which is birthing without having to manipulate. Golly, what a wonderful time that is upon us. That this is all happening now. Are you making space in your life for this?
Or are you consumed by the distraction? Because the ultimate spiritual trap in this moment is the distraction that's got your attention and would think that you are less than you are. You are invincible and you are eternally joy-filled. Time to remember.
Time to remember. Take a big breath in. And until we have the joy of being with you next Sunday, may you trust that all is truly well.
And remember, this Tuesday, Soul Mirrors, 5 p.m. Pacific, right here, Part 2.
We love you.
Namaste. Thank you for joining us at Shri and Kira Live. To have your questions answered, send us an email to guest@shriandkiraradio.com and check out more information at shriandkira.com. See you next week. Namaste.